Howdy peeps and welcome back to the channel for what is a modelling video. I know, shock, horror, amazement. I do still do the modelling, it's just I haven't really been doing anything much that I either haven't already done a video on or that someone else has really recently covered, or let's be honest, isn't really worth trying to even make a video teeth in sharp. Isn't even worth making a video about, or something that's just going to cause massive arguments, and I've had enough of that. So today what we're going to be looking at is another how I do, and it's another how I do on tracks. Yeah, really exciting, I know, but hey ho. It seems to be a subject that people do struggle with fairly regularly. Need to get some better poly grip. Actually, no, I know what I need. Energy drink always helps. Ooh, pardon me. So today it's going to be ModelKasten tracks. Now, if you're not familiar, they're like the normal Lincoln length tracks, but they're workable and they have individual pins per track link. And here's some I made earlier. So as you can see, workable, fairly delicate, but not as bad as some. Now when you get the kit, they normally come, me being me, I normally build Russian, so you get two types of track links, the one with the guide horn, the one without, and they will come on long sprues, as it were, just like so, which is the perfect amount. If you bear with me, you'll figure out why in a bit. And then the pins come on sprues, if I can even get this thing to focus on these. As you can see, teeny tiny little track pins. You wouldn't want them loose. So the reason I say coming on the sprues like this is really good is my preferred method of making them is to clean up one sprue of each kind and trim them all off. So take that, trim them all, sand up the joint marks, which are usually pretty easy, they're normally in sensible places. Then chop all the next lot off, sand off the sprue gates, and then assemble. Rather than sit there for a monster session of chop them all off, then sand them all up, then glue them all together. Yeah, that would be tedious and a nightmare. So I tend to go a short section at a time, maybe while I'm waiting for something else to dry. So just glue the turret halves together in them, or the upper and lower hull, and I'm waiting for the cement to set before continuing, get some tracks done. Now they normally come with a small jig as well, which to my mind is normally too small, because I'd rather do a decent section rather than, because if you're just doing a section of 8 links and you've got 88 links per side, you're going to be doing that 12 times. So what I normally do is chuck that away and revert to the good old tried and tested upside down bit of tape stuck to the mat. Now we're going to chuck these out of the way because we don't need them anymore. I won't throw them quite as far away. I'll actually put them back in the box. And here's some track links I've prepared earlier. Now I'm going to probably have to move things around and zoom you in a little closer. So what I'll do is I'll move that back that way. Carefully just slide all the crud across on the bench. Zoom the camera in a little more so we can see the tape. And just start laying out the track links. And this tape is already done, a full set of tracks, so it's not particularly sticky anymore, but as long as it holds them roughly in place, that's good enough. Get that way round. No, other way sharp. Sort it out. You're not that inept all the time. Just when you've got a camera on you. So, doesn't take long. It's even better if you get them the right way around. You're sat in a more comfortable position and you're doing it in front of you. There's where the camera is at the moment. I'm doing this off to my left, about 6 to 8 inches further in front of me than I normally would. And excuses. Now the second thing we need is the pins. Now I'm going to have to find an old pair of cutters, because I don't like to cut through sprue with my shiny new cutters. And rather than chop the individuals off, and again this is why I like using an old pair of cutters, because this can damage the blades, especially if you've got a nice sharp new pair. So we have the section of track pins chopped off, and this is the other bonus with doing them flat onto the board, or cutting mat rather than onto a, oh go on, in you get. Now we got a truculent one somewhere. There we go. So if you do this on the jig, then getting these to line up is really tricky. Whereas on the cutting mat, everything's kind of at the right level. And we take our glue, in this case Tamiya, extra thin cement, and going along carefully we just add it and let the capillary action draw it in through the pin to glue it in place. This is another reason I'd rather not use the jigs, don't glue the last one in because you haven't got a track link. In my case these aren't going to get used, so it doesn't really matter. This is just a spare bunch left over from the Bronco SU152. But yeah, if you glue them on the jig and you have an accident without noticing it, or you get a bit heavy-handed with the glue, it's all too easy to glue the tracks to the jig. Now I've not done that with the ModelKasten ones in the past, but I have done it with the Trumpeter Indie Link ones, that you cut the links much the same way, you glue the links together rather than the pins. Now if you find ModelKasten tracks are a bit delicate and flimsy for you, by all means do them like you would with a normal Indie Link track. Glue the actual links together, they'll be a lot stronger. I tend to get away with it for the most part, and once the glue has had a chance to set, i.e. not trying to get through it quick for the time constraints of a video, come along with your sharp shiny pair of sprue cutters, chuck that in the bin. Hopefully not stand on it later, try not to put everything in massive shadow. that to one side. And you're going, oh yes, but how do you get them off of the tape? Well, I tend to just use either a straight edge steel ruler, or in this case my tweezers, run it underneath, and off they lift. Hey presto, one segment of workable track links. So they're easy enough to do. Most people's main issue comes from the time taken. Let's see if we can zoom back. Oh, wow, I even went the right way. So most people's issue comes from the time taken to do them, but as I say, if you break them up, do them a bit at a time, rather than sit there and try to do them all in one fell swoop, then it's nowhere near as much of a tedium thing. Personally, I enjoy doing indie link tracks, whether they be ModelKasten, Meng, Trumpy, frills, although they're a bit overrated in my book. I see people putting frills on a lot of tanks that really don't need them. Oh, you get the right sag. Yeah, but the tank's got side skirts on that cover virtually 3/4 of the wheel. You're never going to see them. All you see of the tracks is basically the front and back. Anyway, minor rant. I'll save that for maybe another time. So, I hope if you've ever had issues or wondered how, that clears a few things up for you on the subjects of ModelKasten tracks. So, yep, if you're a modeler, don't panic. I do still do the modelling. It's not just a fish channel anymore. Or now. It's my channel. I will do what is interesting me at the time. So it could go on to Sharpie's Models Aquatics and Paranormal, or Sharpie's Models Aquatics and Crochet and Macrame. You never know. But anyway, if you liked what you're seeing and other stuff, you know the drills. Leave a like, give it a good old thumbs up. If you've got any questions, stick it in the comments below. I do read all the comments and I do try and answer all of them as well. Don't forget to do the old subscription, ring my bell for the notifications, become a bell ringer for Sharpie. That should be my statement. And don't forget, whatever, enjoy your hobby, have fun, peace out, rock on, bye bye.